Good morning and welcome to Kelly's Anesthesia Tips and welcome to September. I cannot believe it is September already, but you know how time flies. And I'm always having fun when I'm getting to share. So this is a busy month for me. So thank you to Lori for giving me a quick idea for a quick video to be helpful. This is one of the problem children that we all deal with when coding anesthesia. And that's because we code anatomically and we have to know whether it's the upper or lower part of the body often in order to assign the correct anesthesia code. Sometimes it makes a base value difference and sometimes it does not. Why it is important is one, for accuracy, but two, because when you're dealing with the base units, you want to make sure that whether it's equal to or a higher or lower value, that you're assigning the most accurate code you can. Now, where this becomes a problem is I've worked with a billing company, I've owned a billing company, I've done everything you can imagine in the world of anesthesia billing, and when we were unable to tell and I was able to ask the doctors, I would say, do you know whether this was the upper or the lower? And sometimes they would, and you can code from that. And believe it or not, sometimes they would not, because they were saying, well, it's right around the umbilicus, so I'm really not sure whether it was upper or lower. So when that happens, or if you don't have the opportunity to ask, I realize that not everyone has access to the clinical staff that provides the service. When I say when you're with a billing company for compliance purposes, they try to choose the lower of the two, which it's not the right thing to do, but if that's the way that you're being trained to do it and they're trying to be compliant, sometimes it's what you end up with. So if I could make recommendations, it would be don't guess. But if you have to guess, do the CYA and say in a note somewhere, because this helps me as an auditor as well, to say, I couldn't tell if it was upper or lower, so I queried and the provider didn't know, or I queried or I wasn't able to query, or whatever the reason is. But that kind of gives you that coverage to say, I didn't know, but I did my best to try to find out. Couldn't find out, so I did what was the most compliant. And is it compliant? That's questionable, because if you look at the guidelines, they'll say that they don't want overbilling and they don't want underbilling. So I'm not sure how compliant it is, but you tried. All right, so I do have a resource for you. And the resource that I've had up, I hope this stays up the whole time, I shared yesterday on the Anesthesia Coding and Billing Facebook. And if you're not a member of that and you do any coding or have an interest in it, that would be a good one to join. Here, I have this on my website, which is, I'll hyperlink all of this as well. And I created this many, many years ago, not just for myself, but to help conference participants at, don't even remember which conference, there's been so many. But I'm a huge supporter of anesthesia conferences for this reason. This is a place where you learn and you talk and you discuss what everyone's having issues with. We have one more left this year in December that I know of. I don't know all of them. If you know them and I don't, send them to me. I'll add them to my website. The one, it's in November, is Decision Health. It's all virtual now, no live. At one point they had 4 meetings in a year, believe it or not. They're down to 1 virtual meeting. The virtual is good, but it's not, you don't have the ability to do one-on-ones or do lunch or discuss or any of that stuff. You have a chat room, but it's difficult to try to get, the kind of participation and discussions that you can have at live conferences. The live conferences have also dwindled. You'll find a list of them on my website as well. one upcoming January in Las Vegas at the Paris Hotel. That's the ASA. And then we have our location for the AIA BPM to be held in April of 2026, which will be in Phoenix. So again, go to my website. I'm going to show you, because sometimes it's a little difficult to find where I have all of these resources, but I share not just my resources, but resources that other people give me to share as well. So you'll see it has right upper left, right lower, left lower, and then with the asterisks here, read the bottom, because I learned this along the way too, and here's your base value difference. When you're working in the intraperitoneal or intraperitoneal, I've heard it both ways, when you've worked in that area, if you're in the upper abdomen, you get 1 extra unit for 00790. The alternate of 840 that you see with each of these is for places that are exclusively in the on the sigmoid or rectum, and that's according to the ASA, American Society of Anesthesiologists. And those are the codes that you have an option to go to the higher value of 00790 if you're working on the ileocecal valve, ileum cecum, the beginning of the sigmoid. So you see this is toward the lower end of the sigmoid colon or the rectum. The upper end and the sigmoid colon themselves will still get you that 00790. All right, I'm going to pop over to show you how to get here. My main page on my website is the YouTube channel link. I add 1 a month is my goal. I'm doing it really early this month because it's incredibly busy this month for me. So when you get to my website, there are a few links across the top, but you really want to go to this more one. There's so much more. The information on seminars and education, there are 2 separate because I might be speaking at it or I might not. If I'm speaking, it's here. If I'm not, it's here. But I still put the speaking engagements one on the seminar education because I don't want you guys to miss it. Compliance, mentioned it, but there's a whole lot more here. State societies, we at the Florida Anesthesia Administrators Association welcome out-of-state members. It is what has helped us keep our state chapter alive when other states like Georgia and Texas have closed. If you have an interest in one in your own state, like Tennessee, then we're always happy to share our resources with you that the other state societies shared with us. Every article that I can share, I will put on this page. Sometimes I can't because I write them for the AAPC and they put them on blogs and I don't have direct links to them. But everything I can share, I share. I have links. You can read the rest. What we're going to pay attention to now are the forms to download, because once you're at the forms to download page, you have to go over to the documents to download tab from there. Because on one, I'm warning you to make sure you're using your most up-to-date. And then here, I have an alphabetical list of everything that I can think of that I've used that is helpful or that people share. This was an anonymous person who shared something they had written. So I did a YouTube on it and added it. This anatomical chart, as you can see, has been here for years. I last updated it in September of 2020, but this is where you're going to go. I just saved us the time and quickly linked over to there myself. But if you go there, you can download it. And then, like I said, go through here, see if there's anything that can be helpful to you. I get a lot of requests for this colonoscopy. That's Julie's. She made one, updated it, I shared with her permission. And then I tell you, if you have something that you use that is very helpful to you and you don't mind sharing it with others, give it to me. I'll credit you and put it on this page. It's just a mechanism for all of us to help each other. So I'll end with what I like to say to everyone. Be kind to one another and generous with your knowledge. Hope you continue to support anesthesia meetings, and I will see you next month for, I've still got a list, but if you have a suggestion, feel free to send them to me or put them in the comments.